Hello, everyone. How are you this afternoon? It is Thursday. We are much closer to Friday than we were yesterday. And so I know that you guys are excited about that. So come on in, grab a pen and some paper. We have an awesome guest with us today. And I'm so excited that she is here today because she is going to be speaking to our spirits. I can't tell you how much I need that. So when you come in, just let us know that you're out there. Send us a hello. Hey, I'm here. Just let us know that you're out there. And we're going to get started in just about a few minutes here. Before we get started, I always like to send a shout out to our essential workers. We appreciate you all so very much for the things that you're doing every day to keep us safe. And so from all of us to all of you, we say thank you. So I am going to go ahead now and introduce our speaker. I'm so excited. So I could really tell you and speak from my heart about this woman, but I'm sure I might miss a few things. But before I read her bio to you, I can tell you from a personal point of view that she is a woman who loves women. And she is so sincere and so giving when it comes to ensuring that women are in a good place in their lives so they can move forward. So I'm going to go ahead and read this because she said she was going to pay me if I read it exactly like she wrote it here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now, okay? So, Rita Ricks is unlike any other person on the speaking circuit because she coaches everyone in her view. Her wisdom, her wit, her energy, and encouragement are catalysts to inspire her listeners to renew the person within. She speaks to your spirit by sharing her own life experiences. She is a spiritual business coach, an inspirational speaker, a former radio host, workshop facilitator, award winning entrepreneur, and the author of two books. One of them is Permission Granted, a journal of spiritual epiphanies, and hashtag Just for Today. Both are located at Amazon.com. Rita is host of a 30-minute show on Amazon Prime entitled Speaking to Your Spirit, and she is an award-winning facilitator for Scaling for Growth, which is a 6-month program, and I know you're going to want to hear about that. It is offered to the Commonwealth of Virginia for SWAM certified entrepreneurs who are ready to work on their businesses, okay? Her purpose in life is to show women and really smart men how to remove the barriers preventing them from creating the life they were born to live in order to enjoy a more fulfilled life of purpose, peace, and passion. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Rita Ricks. Hello, Rita.
Hello, my dear. How are you?
I am fantastic, and welcome to the Coach's Corner.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, indeed. And I have to tell our viewers, the Coach's Corner is a private Facebook group of purpose-bound women. And it is a group for women who are serious about working on themselves, whether it's their personal lives or their business lives. And Rita is one of the coaches who visits that page periodically to see what's going on, to see if you have questions. And like I said, Rita is a spiritual coach among other coaches, but we also have coaches there who are marketing and branding coaches, coaches who work with entrepreneurs who have been in their business 3 to 5 years. We have business strategists, career coaches, social media coaches. So whatever you might need, this is a great work group for you. And all you have to do is to request membership for that group because we're only taking serious women. in that group. So Rita is a part of that group, but today she has come on to share some information with us. And so Rita, I want to start by asking you, how did you become a coach? What was the journey? I mean, most people don't, as children, we don't grow up, we don't come up saying, oh, one day I want to be a coach, so
Yes.
how did that
No, I
happen?
do understand. I do. I do. So I've always said that my career is like a trip,
Uh-huh.
because I started as a middle school teacher for
Okay.
15 years. And then I went into business. I had Mirror Enterprise Inc., which was a professional and personal development training company.
Mhm.
And we were privileged to be able to work with those folks coming off of welfare, going to work. And we did that for about 7 years. But I had Mirror about 20, a little over 20 years.
Mhm.
And then life happened, and
Right.
I had losses. I literally had breast cancer, and then I lost my dad. I mean, 2 weeks after I got off of my treatment, he passed, and my mom had Alzheimer's. My business partner passed. There was just so much going on in my life that I
Yeah.
decided I didn't want to be the boss anymore. I needed to get back to me. And so
Mhm.
I turned the company over to my daughter, and I came home thinking that everybody knew me. And so I could certainly be a life coach because that would work. And people thought I had retired. So I had to
Uh-huh.
start from the beginning with figuring out what a life coach is and how was I going to offer that. Because I was a trainer. And
Right.
um, and so I ended up at Richmond Hill, which is up at the top of one of the tallest, highest
Beautiful
hills in
place.
Richmond.
It's a
It's a
beautiful
retreat.
place. Yeah.
Yes,
It's
it's a
a
retreat
beautiful
center.
place.
And
Mhm.
I stumbled into that place. I was familiar with it, but I was so lost, and I just felt led to go there. And they had a 2-year program called RUA, which is breath. And it is the School of Spiritual Direction. Now, mind you, I didn't know anything about being a spiritual director, but I felt like that could help me with my life coaching. And
Mhm.
so I went in for those 2 years. We had to spend the night. We had to spend the night once a month there. And we read and we were coached and we did coach. And I just learned about me. In 2 years, overnight, I literally learned about me. And the best thing they did was to have us to spend 6 24 hours in silence. And I'm going to talk about that silence, but that's what transformed my life. So let me just answer that question, wrap up that question by saying I went in 2009 as a life coach. I came out in 2011 as a spiritual coach.
Wow. Wow. I
Yeah.
can see that happening. I had the opportunity to visit Richmond Hill.
Hmm.
It was it was just so serene. And when you walk in there, I mean, just walking through the door, it's just like,
I know. I know. And that's what I needed. That's
yeah.
what I needed. And so it was my home again, once a month, but there was so much reading and there were papers that we had to write. And it just allowed me to be quiet so that I could learn me and figure out what I was supposed to do with all of these changes in my life that just
Mhm.
seemed to happen so quickly.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah. So it was good. It was
right.
good.
We've got a comment here from Jonette Mead Barley. She says she's loving the new look on you.
That's because my beautician finally got back to work.
I know. I know we're all waiting for that to
Oh
happen.
my gosh. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, yes. So you're here today to talk to us about waking up every day full of joy and expectation.
I am. And I'm gonna just spin. I hope everybody, like you said, you have your journal and you have your pen, because I believe we have a choice every morning when we wake up. Every morning we have a choice. We can wake up full of joy and expectation, or we can wake up angry or sad or victim, we have the choice. And so I have decided every day I will wake up with joy and expectation. Why? Because today is all we have.
That's
We
right.
can't do anything about yesterday, and tomorrow isn't promised. The
Exactly.
other thing about today is that it's unrepeatable. We'll never, ever see this day again. So why would I waste it
Exactly.
choosing to be bitter or choosing to be sad when I am so grateful to be here? And so that I want to move right into exactly what I do every single morning. I
Okay.
have a journal right next to my bed. My glasses are there. My favorite pen is there.
Uh-huh.
And I journal first. I journal because I think it is important for me to get out of my head whatever is in there. I need to put it on paper. When you put something on paper, you begin to analyze it. It doesn't seem quite as serious and scary as it was when it was just rolling around in your head.
Mm-hmm.
I journal because I also believe that's my legacy. I have 2 daughters and 2 granddaughters, and they will be able to read them when I'm gone. So they will
That
know
is so true.
if I was angry with one of them or whatever, they'll see it when I'm gone.
When
And
you're
they'll go, I didn't know mom thought that way. Well, now you know. So I just really share my feelings. I share my feelings in there. I talk about how grateful I am. And I ask God there are questions that I ask, and there are my innermost secrets. I call it my Dear God letter every morning because I start off with Good morning, Father God, Holy Spirit, Lord Jesus. This is the day that you have made, and I will rejoice in it. So that's my choice to
Yes. So,
rejoice in it
so you write that out every morning.
every morning.
Wow.
And then I go into what it is I want to say. And I never know. Sometimes I'll spend the whole page in just what I'm grateful for. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there
Mm-hmm.
isn't a lot of complaining because there isn't a lot of bad stuff. You
Right.
know, I just want to hear from him today, or I want to do his will today, or I want to be directed in the way he wants. So it's a conversation that I'm having with him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When I finish the journaling and I close the book, then I feel good. I've shared what I needed to share.
Okay.
And I'm not and if I had concerns, then once I close the journal, I leave it closed because I know that God's going to take care of it because that's what I've asked him to do. So I don't have
Exactly.
to think about it anymore. It's almost like, good, you got it now. I
Yeah.
can
Done.
go on with my day. I'm good,
Damn.
you know?
Let me ask you something that I thought about while you were talking, because before we wake up in the morning, obviously we have to go to bed.
Yes.
Okay, and so one of the things that I don't know if I heard it from someone or if I read it somewhere, but and I always tell my mother this because it's stuck in my mind. My mother loves watching news
Hmm.
and leaving the TV on all night. And I say to her, Mom, you have no idea
Yeah.
what's coming on after you've gone to sleep, for one. I mean, the news is one thing, but after you've gone to sleep, you have no idea what's on the TV.
Right,
Whatever is going on is seeping into your subconscious
right, right. I
mind.
cut the
And
TV off. I
yeah,
cut it off. And
or
here's the other
get out
thing.
of the bedroom totally.
Absolutely. But here's the other thing. This morning is an example. I went to bed like about 10 and I
Mhm.
woke up at 2 wide awake. And when I realized I wasn't going to go back to sleep, I didn't grab my phone. That's important that we not just grab our phone. I journal. I write because I think that for some reason God has me up. Just let me journal. Just let me write some things. Just let me think about my business, but let me journal rather than turning the TV on. Because again, it's still my time. It's
Right.
my time. So yeah, so no, I don't have that TV on. It's
Yeah.
just way noisy. What
It's
it's noise coming in.
it's noise. And then the other thing about journaling for me, because I'll be honest, I used to do it a lot. I don't do it as much, but I do remember how rewarding that can be. But when I was journaling and I was going through something and I would write
Hmm.
about it, and
Hmm.
then when I came out of it, God brought me
Hmm.
out of it, I'd write
Right.
about it. So then the next
Right.
time that an obstacle comes, I could flip back through my journal
That's
and
right.
see how God had worked that thing out so many times. And then I ask myself, so why are you worrying? You've
Right.
got proof right here in your
Right.
hand that He works
Right.
things out, you
Right.
know?
right.
So it was
And
awesome.
and
Awesome.
you can look at something from 6 months ago, and that was the worst thing that ever happened to you. And
Yeah.
now we're in COVID.
Yeah.
Back in January, you're just trying to pay your bills and lose some weight. Now we're in COVID. And so you get to see that there's it's all relative. It's all how you look. Your perspective, you change your reality.
True.
So the journaling is the first step. This is 3 steps. The
Okay.
second step is to read something uplifting. So, for example, with my book, hashtag just for today, there are 365 activities that you can do, one a day for the whole year. And so it's an action. You read it and then you do what it says.
Oh,
Or
wow.
if you like enough, you can read it a week or two and continue to do it. So that's one book I suggest.
Mhm.
Another book is Jesus Calling by Sarah Young. It's an amazing daily book. Have you read it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. I love
yeah.
it.
Well, let
I
me
love
tell you, it took me 3 years to get through it because sometimes the message was so powerful, I would just keep reading it. That's what I do. And so I just get it until it's in my spirit.
it. Hmm.
Another one that I've now been reading for 3 years is what is it? Jesus, Cindy Trim wrote a book. Cindy
Yeah.
Trim wrote a book, and it's just so amazing. Did I put it up on the? I
No,
can't
I
remember if I put it
can do
up
it.
for you.
I can do it. What's the name of that one?
I just took it upstairs. I thought I had given it to you, but if I have to, I'll run and get it. But
Oh, go ahead.
it
Commanding
is.
the Morning.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Commanding, that's right, commanding your morning. And she is a powerful, powerful minister.
Yes, she is.
And I have seen her on YouTube. I've heard her on YouTube. A friend of mine sent me a prayer that she did, Lawanda, about 3 weeks ago. And I was on my walk and I started playing it. This woman prayed for 29 minutes.
Wow.
29 minutes.
Wow.
I was walking and shouting and crying. It was just amazing.
Hmm.
So I love her. I love the work that she does. So that's the kind of reading that it doesn't have to be anything long, but it
Hmm.
needs to uplift you. It needs to speak to you. It needs to feed your
Right.
spirit
Right.
because you've already released in your journal those things that were bothering you.
Right.
Now you can replace what you released in the journal with this food for thought, the nurturing, and it just works for me.
Hmm.
So like I said, you can get my book, hashtag just for today, or commanding your spirit, or Jesus calling, any one of those. And there are plenty more out there. There are
Yeah.
plenty more. The
But those are
point
some
is,
good ones.
yeah, the point is that you don't take a long time reading, because what I'm saying right now is something that should be about 30 minutes that you do this regularly. And I
Mhm.
even suggest sometimes that you take, you have a basket. If you want to get up out of the bed when you start to do this, that you have a basket and you put your journal and your glasses and your pen and your candle. Mine is burning now. Put all
Uh-huh.
of that in your basket so when you leave the bedroom, you can go, you have everything you need. There are no distractions because the enemy is very busy.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
so step one is journaling. Step two is uplifting reading. The
Hmm.
third piece, which I will tell you is my favorite part, is the silence.
Hmm.
It is listening to the silence. And I got that phrase when I was doing the silence at Richmond Hill. Remember, I had to do 6 24 hours over 2 years. And
Right.
what happened to me on the sixth silence in April of 2011 was we were in chapel for lunch, before lunch, and they played "Thank You Lord," the song "Thank You Lord," and the second verse has been so good. And I started to cry and I could not stop. And it was like the ugliest, awful cry. I couldn't stop. I wasn't sad. I just couldn't stop. I realize now that I surrendered. I
Mm.
let go. I
Right.
stopped worrying. I let go. And that's why the silence is so powerful.
Okay.
During that silence, literally, God just gave me the day that I'm going to tell you about in a minute. What He gave me the title, how I was supposed to facilitate it, and you just hear. Because here's the deal about the silence: your Creator created you
Right.
for a purpose.
Mhm.
And how are you going to tell your creator what you want if he already knows what you want? So why wouldn't you just tell him how grateful you are in the journaling, or what you need, what your concerns are? Remember, that's me going up this way.
Mhm.
I have to get in the silence to hear what he wants me to do with what I said.
Right. Now, Rita, I'm going to tell you, I haven't seen any comments about this, but I've heard people who say, all right, you're supposed to sit in silence so that you can hear. But what happens when this is something new for you, when you sit in that silence, your mind goes
It
every.
does. It does. And mine too. But here's
Uh-huh.
the point. Here's the point. You set your phone for, say, 15 minutes. So already you don't have to worry about, well, it feels like I've been doing this 20 minutes. You find out you've been there 3, you
Right.
know. So that's the first part. You set your phone and you just start to write down what you're hearing, because I'm not asking you to shut down. You have to practice this skill. You
Right.
have to practice where you can sit, and now I'm able to do it. Not all the way through, but
Yeah.
after a while, those thoughts go away, because a lot of them, see, people will do the silence without writing in the journal. And so you can't go, it's
Right.
not going to happen.
Right.
So journaling first takes some of that, those challenges, concerns, and worries off of you, because you
Okay.
put them in the journal.
Right.
But you have to practice every morning, 7 days a week.
Wow.
And where I am now is, the morning I do 30 minutes, but since we've been home with COVID, I've been doing an hour on Saturday. And I last Saturday for the first time did 2 hours.
Now,
What?
when you say an hour, you do an hour of journaling and
No, an
reading.
hour of silence.
Oh, you
I
do an
did the
hour.
journal. I already did the journaling,
All
and I
right.
already did the reading. I have a half bath down here that is totally dark. And so I come down here with my blanket and my pillow for my back, because I sit on the floor. Gets a little tough, but I sit on the floor and I just listen. I just listen. And when things come in and I realize that I'm trying to figure out, do I want a pair of shoes? I'll go, let it go. Let it go. You don't want the shoes right now.
I,
You're supposed to be listening.
yeah, that is.
And after a while, and again, I've been doing this now for 10 years, so I need people to understand that I've been practicing this for 10 years. But when the conversation comes, when I'm hearing from him, the ideas, I have to write them down. I have to write them down. So that's why I encourage people, as you hear stuff, write it down, because you're probably not astute enough to be able to discern, again, the shoe buying
Mhm.
from what God is saying. And
Right.
so write down everything so that you can look at it later and see, what did I hear? Because there may be something in the middle of that you thought was kind of nonsense that will be exactly what you need moving forward. But we
Okay.
have to be intentional about this.
Right.
And we can't just sit there, because I tell my clients, you can't just sit there because Rita said just sit there. You have to understand this is the biggest and most wonderful privilege you can have, communing with your creator.
That is
Because
so true.
he's talking to us every day,
Absolutely. And we
but
do
we
have
aren't
to.
listening.
Yeah. Now you said something very interesting, that you come downstairs to the dark bathroom and sit on the floor. So location is probably
I think so.
a certain
And
a
and
place.
here's the deal, because I have some clients who say they prefer being in the light. I'm a visual person. So if the sun is shining, I'm going to be figuring, I can't wait to get to the pool or something, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. When I am in the dark, it feels like I'm in a cocoon. It feels like I am totally surrounded
Mhm.
by this darkness. So, and there is no distraction. I can't see anything. I can't see anything in there. Because if
That's-
I'm in my room, I'll look at, oh, I didn't know that book was down there, or, oh, this room needs to be vacuumed. None
yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
None of that. I've
So
been through it all.
you really have, because you've hit every one of my buttons. You
So
have.
it takes a minute. It takes a minute. But when you understand that this is a dialogue. We need to have a dialogue, because I have clients who say, "Oh, Rita, I pray." I say, "Well, do you listen?" And they'll say no. So all you're doing is telling him.
Exactly.
And this is about hearing from him, because he knows the plans that he
Exactly.
has for us. And what I have learned is his plans are so much bigger than mine.
Yeah.
And I say also that he and I are co-creating my life. He tells me what to do, and then I do it. And, I don't worry. I
Exactly.
don't worry.
Exactly. I think if we really took the word of God literally,
Hmm.
because so many of us walk around here saying, "Oh, he knows the plans," but
Right,
do you really hear what you're saying?
right,
We
right,
say it
right,
because that's something we hear all the time in church or whatever. But do you really let those words marinate in your spirit until you get to the point where you really believe what you're saying?
right, right.
You
And I say all the time, we are human beings. We are not human doings. We get in our own way.
Mhm.
So yeah, we ask God, will you help me do this? And then we go about doing it.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I'm simply saying that when you're listening, you just wait. You just wait.
Right.
And
And
for him to share something. And that's just for today.
yeah,
Tomorrow he'll tell you something else. This is
right,
just for today. So you
right.
can't afford to miss it. And
Yeah.
the other thing is, sometimes it may sound loud in my head, but I cannot remember it when it's, I'm like, what did I hear? And so that's why the journal, I bring my journal and my pen with me downstairs. So, if there's something, then I have my phone and I'll just use the light to write it down real quickly, and then
Mhm.
put the phone back down, because the phone is only there to tell me how long, to go
Yeah.
for the alarm.
To do it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you
yeah.
said something
So
that
it is a
a lot of people, you were saying something about waiting to hear, and a lot of us just feel like, okay, I told him, he knows what my intentions are, I'm going to go ahead and do it. But I say waiting is not wasting time.
that's right.
Doing before you actually hear wastes more time than waiting on him to tell you exactly what the next step is.
Exactly. That is so true. That's so good. That's
Yeah.
so good. And so for me, we right now are in a pause.
Okay.
This is a pause,
Mm-hmm.
and we are to take advantage of it. It isn't about going out. It's not being that we're being punished by staying inside. Seriously,
Mm-hmm.
this is a pause to help us to see what he wants us to do. We're ruining the planet. We're way too greedy. We're too ugly to other people. And God is saying, you got to stop this.
Yeah.
You got to stop this.
Yeah.
And so the blessing that I have had being home, and again, being able to sit for 2 hours. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and not have anywhere else to go. It's just been a blessing.
Yeah.
And by the time, all of this is over, it will be a habit. And so that's what I say to folks too. It doesn't, anything that you practice for 21 days or longer, you are
Mm-hmm.
going to begin to, it'll be a part of your life. When I travel, the first thing I put in my suitcase is my journal and pen. First thing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
first thing,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Because it's just that important. It's
I,
just that
I
important.
I think so. And I believe that we are healing the planet at this point as
Yeah.
well. And
Right.
so my contribution for healing the planet during this time is to stay home and
Mm-hmm.
to listen and
Right.
to map out. I call it my GPS. It's my growth plan strategy for what I'll be doing for the rest of the year with my business. And it's exciting, but
Yeah.
we have to choose to get up every morning and be what? Excited and expecting.
Excited and expecting. You're
Yeah.
exactly right. So
Yeah.
we have a couple of minutes left. I want
Hmm.
you to tell them a little bit about what you have to offer to
I'll
them.
be I'll
Yeah.
be glad to. So, the Listening to the Silence retreat that I have been now conducting for 10 years, we are now doing it virtually.
Okay.
So we still meet second Tuesday of every month. So June 9th is the next retreat. And I will send a letter out the day before asking that you figure out where it is you're going to be. Where are you going to be while you're silent on Tuesday? Because I don't want you driving, you
Right.
know. If you're going to go to the park, go there before we meet at 9 o'clock. If you've got your room set up, make sure you have big signs on the door saying "Do not disturb."
Uh-huh.
Fix your lunch. If you're going to want to eat lunch, fix your lunch ahead of time. Because again, any distractions will take you away, you
Right.
know, from
Right.
what it is. And here's the deal: you're not there punishing yourself. You just are committing 5 hours to being with your Creator. That's it. He gives you 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So I send that out. I give them a couple scriptures and that I want them to read. And I ask them to begin Monday evening praying for a really awesome day. Few, if any, expectations. Just allow yourself to relax
Mhm.
starting the night before. So you wake up excited about what you're getting ready to do instead of saying, what if I don't hear him? Where am I going to?
Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We get on right at 9 o'clock. It's a Zoom call. And so I send everybody the link in the letter. It's a
Hmm.
Zoom call and we start talking. I want to hear from each person. Who are you? Why are you here? How did you hear about this? And just a little bit about you. I also share my story with listening to the silence where I heard God. He told me to start at 9. He gave me the title. He told me to start at 9 o'clock. He told me when we're doing it at Richmond Hill, he told me that they must be silent while they're eating. They
Hmm.
cannot talk while they're eating. And most of them say that the food is so good. They say, do you taste that lettuce? It's the same lettuce you taste all the time. It's just that you weren't talking. So
Just
you
be your
could
relax.
taste your food. That's
Yeah.
the difference. You could taste your food.
Uh-huh.
And then what else do we do? And so so we spend maybe about 45 minutes. I pray when we go in and I get somebody else to pray when we leave. And then they leave. Everybody leaves the computer and they come back at 2 o'clock and they share their experience. That is the most amazing thing, to share what they heard, what they saw. One woman last week, because we just had it last week, 2 weeks last week, she wrote about 20 pages. She said there was just so much that she needed to get out of her.
Wow.
Yay, that's what we're here for. That's what
Wow.
it's there for. One lady said she didn't hear much of anything, but she felt so relaxed and she felt so safe. And she had not felt that safe since COVID began. So
Wow.
everybody has one. I had a man this time, and I typically have one or two men, and he wrote a poem. He said, I have never written a poem, but it came in his spirit. He's an actor, a former actor, and
Right.
he wrote this poem. So everybody has different experiences, and it's just the most beautiful thing. And I would invite anybody who's hearing me to consider coming in on June 9th. You can go to my contact us page. I think you've got that. Yeah.
It's right there. Hmm.
So that's the link, or my website is www.speaktoyourspirit.com. Go to the last page, which is contact us, and I will get your name and your email and your phone number. And I will send you a note. I already have 3 who want to
Okay.
be in the next one. Yeah. And
Okay.
so it is, and it's no charge to you. This is no charge. This is purely a ministry that I have been doing for 10 years that I adore. If we were at Richmond Hill, it would cost you $20, but that's just for your lunch and
Yeah.
for coffee.
And that's
So
still a nominal fee for what you get out of this. Let
absolutely.
me ask you, do you hear from some of your participants, a couple of months down the road? Do you
Oh
get
yeah.
any updates,
Yeah.
anything you can?
Well, and many of them, well, not many, but some didn't become a client because they want to go deeper.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they want to know more. They want to understand more about themselves. And so that happens. And then I have some who were at Richmond Hill with me, and now they've come online with me. And so it is a wonderfully um, nurturing community, you know, because these folks don't know each other. They don't
Right,
know each other.
right.
And we get tears 3 minutes after we start sometime because they can feel, you know, they
Mhm.
can feel that this is such an opportunity to let go and let God.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it sounds awesome. And I would, you know what? I'm thinking I may even sign up myself. I'm just,
Would love for you too.
yes, I think it will be a wonderful thing. And I want to encourage all of you who are listening to please think about doing this and consider doing this. And if you have friends that need to hear what Rita has shared with us, do a watch party with them. Share
Right.
this information. All of this information is free. And like Rita said, you know, we're in COVID for a reason other than the fact that there is a virus out there. I mean, this is a great opportunity to find you. And it's very important that you do that so that when we come out of COVID, you
That's
can
right.
move forward with your life. This is a great time
That's
for
right.
businesses. I've seen so much creativity that's just flowing out
I
of
have two.
people. It's
I
just
have two.
amazing, just amazing.
I want to mention too that I'm on Facebook Live. These last 2 weeks, I've not been on every day as being as consistent
Uh-huh.
at noon time, but
Okay.
I am going to get on. I will get on tomorrow morning early, but
Okay.
it's 5 minutes that I talk about what I give some kind of message, some kind of something for folks to just encourage folks. The other thing is that I have what's called Transformation Circle. That is a group of us that meet every fourth Sunday. So this coming Sunday from 8 to 9 at night. It's not audio video, it's just audio. And
Okay.
so any of my clients get in at no cost. There is a cost if you are coming on for the first time, but go to contact us. Let me know you want to come on. I think the cost is $49 for the evening. Just let me know and we can talk about it. But that is fourth Sunday, and that community is also nurturing and just women. And I give them a challenge. This Sunday night, we're going to be talking about the word pause and what each of those letters represents.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Intriguing,
yeah,
intriguing. You all contact Rita and find out more information. That's good stuff.
absolutely,
That is good stuff. And
absolutely.
that's scrolling across the screen there. So go to speaktoyourspirit.com/contact and get all of the information
That's right.
and renew yourself with Rita Ricks.
Uh,
Rita, thank you
every
so
day. You are so welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you for
much.
inviting me.
Yes, and we will have to do this again down the road, maybe after post COVID and see what's
That's
going
right.
on. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Well, thank you, dear, so much, and you have a great evening.
You too. Thank you.
All right.
Everybody, take care. It was wonderful talking to you. Bye bye.